Good evening, everybody. How are we doing this evening? I want to come on here and talk about this whole Idaho situation, because in the back, it just kind of the whole everybody's stories and stuff doesn't really add up. Everybody's speculating, and nothing's really coming to fruition. But this theory of mine, I have again. So seeing a little bit, let's take it as maybe these girls or people in this house sold drugs or had something to do with drugs. Let's take it as a fact, as a factor, and say they sold drugs or something of that nature. Okay. I used to have a roommate that sold drugs. Okay, not marijuana, other drugs. Okay, people would be in and out of our apartment. I would see weird individuals in my house, and there would be times I would stay in my room with it locked, just because I didn't know who was in and out of the house or coming in to see him and not. And yes, odd individuals would come and go. What if it wasn't unusual to have different individuals in the house that were there to purchase drugs or drop things off or pick up packages? Who knows what their role was on the chain of the drugs? They could have been. It could have been a house to hold things. It could have been a place to hold money. We don't know at this point. But say it is drugs. Like I said, would it be odd to look out your door and notice somebody odd looking or that had a mask on? No, it wouldn't. Hearing commotion upstairs, some weird shit going on. No, at different hours of the night. No, that wouldn't be odd to me either if I with my roommate that sold drugs. People would come at different hours of the night, and yeah, sometimes you would hear different commotions or somebody arguing downstairs or this, that, or the other thing. Okay, so did they sell drugs in this house? Could that explain why Dylan didn't think it was a killer and just, again, some weirdo there to buy drugs, some fucking weirdo just there to get his dope and get the fuck out of there? And then she heard some shit upstairs because, again, things happen. Maybe they were arguing. Maybe someone was high on some drugs up there, or maybe someone didn't like the price of the Skittles, and or they didn't think they got enough Skittles. I don't know. But that definitely would explain to me why she didn't think it was odd that that guy was in the house, or why she didn't call 911. But it's still a question I have with even that theory is, what is the frozen shock about? What put her into frozen shock phase? Because clearly the first two times opening the door didn't put her in a shock phase, but the third one did. Or was she in the shock phase when she was opening the door the second and third time? That really wasn't clear to me either. But I don't think you could be in a frozen shock phase and be opening the door, retreating to your room, opening the door, retreating back to your room. So what do you guys think of that? And again, it is coming up that possibly was a stash house. Possibly they did sell Molly or some type of drug there, and they needed to get things out of the house before they called the police. Starting to gather, if you think about the times, that it's starting to see that the public and the community started to hear about these murders around 10 o'clock in the morning. The police weren't called till 11:58. But Hunter also didn't show up to something in the morning. He was supposed to do work on a project with his sorority that morning. He didn't show up. They ended up calling Hunter that morning. It's on Dateline. You can watch it. And they called Hunter that morning before noon. And Hunter said they think Ethan's dead. How did Hunter know that before noon? So again, who was contacted, who was called, by who, and what was said? I guess there's more to be revealed. But again, still just didn't make sense to me, this whole, I opened the door 3 times and didn't notice anything. Like, again, so that clearly these girls are used to random people in the house, if her story is what it is. Was this a drug house? Would it explain the Range Rover? I mean, how do you buy a Range Rover? Wonder how it was paid for? Was it leased? Was it paid with cash? Well, if it was leased, was there a down payment put down on it? Again, is Kaylee's family drive Range Rovers and stuff? Because I mean, usually, that's a pretty expensive car to have. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. And I also believe, and put a video out the other day, that I believe that they thought Kaylee was the target of the attacks because she had moved out and was only back for that one night, and that's when they got murdered. that would make it seem like she was the target, and she didn't live there anymore and didn't stay there anymore and was only there for that one night. But again, I could be wrong on that one too. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. What do you guys think more about the whole, maybe they did sell drugs up in there and would see odd random people coming in and out to buy drugs? Would you think it was weird? Hey, someone's here. Hey, someone's outside. It wouldn't be odd things. It wouldn't be weird, man. Someone's here, someone's outside. Someone's here, someone's outside. It'd be all day long if they sold drugs. So it wouldn't be odd things to hear. That's what you need to try to put into perspective. Why would they say these things to each other? Why would they do this and this? Maybe because of this and this. Because like I said, if you take it that way, then it's not odd in a sense to say, hey, someone's here. Hey, someone's outside. And that's why you wouldn't take it as a threat. Because it's a normality for you. Something of the situation didn't threaten this girl. This girl did not feel threatened in this situation for some reason. Why didn't DM feel threatened in this situation? What made her not feel threatened? She was in a frozen shock phase but didn't feel threatened enough to call the police. That is what is like to me. Something put her in a frozen shock phase but didn't threaten her enough to feel the need to call law enforcement. What the fuck happened? Yeah, curious to hear more details and see more details and all that stuff and everything, guys. I like come back on, start doing a lot more content and stuff. I'm getting irritated with this case because, again, it's like weaponized. If you don't, Brian's guilty and that's it. If you don't go with that, you're wrong. And I can't agree with it all the time. You have to understand and see these cases from other points of view. And again, he's not convicted yet. Maybe he won't get convicted. So you have to look at these cases from other ways. And they went as far as they're talking about this search warrant in his house that I have them all. I was going over them today, but like, blood doesn't stay red, guys. Like, so when they're saying they say find red this, red that, I mean, that really doesn't add up with blood stains, because old blood stains would be like brownish and it wouldn't even really look like blood, sometimes even blackish. Again, not red. So like, that just was funny to me. They find a bunch of red, well, blood, dry blood and old blood's really not red, man. I don't know. Call me crazy, but please comment below what you think about the whole sold drugs there or something out of that house. And again, you wouldn't think any of that stuff would be abnormal. Someone's here, someone's outside. Like, subscribe, and share. What other cases would you like me to look into at this point? Trying to decide on a few other cases to look into. Please comment below if you have a certain case or certain individual you'd like me to look into. If not, don't know what angle I'm going to be taking. We still will talk about things in the media, but I want to talk a bit about like serial killers and things of that nature and start taking a route of that. And what they are, and again, what they do, and why a serial killer is categorized that, etc., etc. And there's a lot we don't know about. There's a few in the media that you do, and you always hear Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer, but there's a lot more that you don't know about. And I feel like bringing to light all the serial killers in America since the 1970s or something would astonish people if they really understood and knew how many serial killers and killers there are in America since 1970. But like, subscribe, and share, guys. Have a great evening.